So today, we're going to break down what a modern dispute really looks like. We're going to see how a private disagreement can just explode into this public battle, fought not just in courtrooms, but all across the internet. And we're using a real case as our guide. All right, so every story's got a starting point, right? Ours begins right here, in a pretty normal-looking apartment on Mercer Island, Washington. But this place, it's more than just four walls. It's basically ground zero for a conflict that would spiral out into a full-blown war, both legally and online. To really get what happened, we have to start with the words that were exchanged. And bam, this is pretty much the first shot fired. A really sharp, direct accusation. It's not just an argument. It's framing someone as a guest who was kicked out for something as serious as intravenous drug use. Right here, the battle lines are officially drawn. And right away, you get the counterattack. Now notice, this isn't a simple denial. It's a legal threat. The whole conversation pivots from someone's behavior to their property, claiming theft and promising to get the police involved. We've got two totally different stories emerging already. And then things get really serious. This quote, which actually comes from a legal filing by a third person, introduces the idea of extreme violence. It just hangs there, making you ask, how on earth did it get to this point? Okay, so how does a disagreement over who's living where escalate to the point of death threats? Let's rewind and walk through this step by step, right from the very beginning. At its heart, this whole thing kicked off when a living arrangement just completely fell apart. You know the story. One person moves out, but their stuff doesn't move with them. And pretty soon, you've got accusations flying that personal items are being held hostage. A personal fallout just turned into a legal fight over belongings. And this is where you really start to feel how incredibly personal this got. This isn't just about furniture. I mean, look at this list from the formal demand letter. You've got a dresser, a bookcase, and then you see it, a small necklace urn with the ashes of a deceased son. That one detail just raises the stakes to a whole different level. So, when those personal demands go nowhere, the fight moves into a new arena, the courthouse. This is the part where all those raw personal feelings get translated into the cold, structured language of the law. And the first legal tool that gets pulled out of the box is something called a temporary protection order. Now, this is a pretty powerful move. A judge can grant one based on what just one person says, sometimes without the other person even being there, all to offer immediate protection from what they see as harassment or harm. And this, right here, is where the legal chess game really gets going. As soon as that protection order is filed, the other side immediately files their own motion to get rid of it, basically arguing the court went too far. It's a classic legal back and forth, with each side trying to use the system to their advantage. Okay, so this table really breaks it all down for us. You can see the protection order was filed, it was granted, but then it was successfully thrown out. But then, look at that third row. A whole new player just entered the game. The landlord is now filing an eviction lawsuit over unpaid rent. This thing just got a lot more complicated. All right, so while all this legal stuff is happening in court, a whole other war is breaking out online over emails and text messages. And this is where things get really messy, raw, and deeply personal. And wow, this slide just says it all, doesn't it? On the left, you've got this final formal demand email. It's written with all this cold legal precision. And then on the right, you have this frantic, emotional text exchange. My car is wrecked. White, are you okay? These two conversations are happening at the same time, and it just shows you the huge gap between the legal posturing and the real-life chaos. And yeah, online, the gloves are completely off. The language is totally unfiltered. We're not talking in legal terms anymore. Now it's just direct, personal attacks on someone's character, which just cranks up the emotional heat of the whole thing. And the accusations get incredibly heavy. This isn't just name-calling. This is alleging behavior that could literally kill someone. Every single text, every email is becoming another piece of this growing and really ugly digital record. So now, the fight isn't just about what's happening today. It starts digging into the past. Personal histories, criminal records, old identities, they're all dug up and used as weapons to try and discredit the other person. Just look at that number. 17. An investigative report that was compiled on one of the people involved, Reanna Fox, found 17 possible aliases. A A single number like that just suggests there's a really complex, maybe hidden history here that's about to be dragged out into the open. And the aliases themselves, I mean, they're just wild. They go from something simple like Pepper Fox to completely different names. And then there's the really bizarre, almost self-aware one, My Altered Ego. Every single alias becomes another piece of a story that's meant to suggest a pattern of deception. And that whole theme of drug use, it comes back big time. But now it's a he said, she said with receipts. On one side, you have the claim of kicking a guest out for IV drug use. But on the other, you have evidence from a police report talking about multiple reports of drug activity and finding a broken glass meth pipe. Each side is using the other's past to try and destroy their credibility right now. So what do you do with all this stuff? The texts, the emails, the background checks, all of it. Well, you compile it. It all gets organized into what one side literally calls an evidence file, basically a dossier. And you can see the game plan laid out right here in a formal communication. They're documenting everything, organizing it all into a timeline, matching every claim with evidence, and then handing the whole package over to their lawyer. The goal, they say, is to create an objective and verifiable record, one that's free from all the emotional drama. And here's what's in that dossier. Think about it. Every single text message, every email, every photo, it's all been turned from a conversation into evidence. It's a person's digital life, captured and categorized for war. And it all leads up to this formal accusation of major theft, like a whole vehicle. And that really leaves us with this final, kind of chilling thought, doesn't it? This whole case shows that every text, every email, every public record, it can all be saved, compiled, and weaponized. In a world where nothing is ever really gone, our digital lives are permanent. It makes you wonder, when a conflict is documented this carefully, does it ever truly end? Or does it just sit there in a folder somewhere, waiting for the next fight?